Yes, I just started to recording the session, and you will have an access to this recording per request. We can share it with you, and you can just go back to the session to refresh your information and your knowledge about GRE. And during the session, you can put your questions in the chat box, or if you have a break, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. And also we'll have, I believe we will have some time like at the end of the session, so for your questions as well. And I am very pleased to introduce our today's speaker, our Tatiana Titko. Tanya is a student. Tanya, you can tell more about yourself, but Tanya is our as actual alumni of our programs EducationUSA, and she's a happy and very successful student who is currently studying in the United States. So Tanya, welcome and thank you for your time and for your efforts. And I know you have some personal experience in taking GRE, and you can share with everybody. And the floor is yours. So.
Thanks, Katya, so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Tanya, and as Katerina just said, I am an alumna of the Opportunity Funds program, and I also participated in the CC Competitive College Club CCC club. I'm very happy to be here. That's the agenda for today. So we're gonna start with the brief review of the GRE test, and just to refresh in our memory the structure and the scoring of the test. And then we're gonna cover the main part, which is the analytical writing for today's meeting. And we're gonna talk in detail about two types of writing, which is the issue essay and then the argument essay. Then we're going to have some hands-on experience, talk about tips and tricks, and I hope we're going to have some time so that you can answer your questions. And if you have a question, unfortunately, we talked with Katerina earlier, I cannot see the chat. So if something doesn't make sense, please unmute yourself and just go ahead and interrupt me. No worries at all. All right, let's get started. A short intro. So I graduated from Chernivtsi National University with my master's in oh my goodness, in English language and literature, I believe, because like they were switching like the name of my program at the time. So it was like English philology / English language and literature, which is the same. And for my professional experience, I was working as an EFL teacher at the language class. That allowed me to get into Ohio University MA program in applied linguistics, where I also was teaching international students, and I was teaching them academic writing. So that was great. I think I can talk a little bit like about academic writing and all of the guidelines that we have here in the US. And currently I am a PhD student in second language acquisition at the University of Maryland. And yeah, as the rest of the world, I'm taking Zoom classes. So nothing super exciting going on in my life right now, but yeah, I'm happy to be here. All right, let's get started with the icebreaker. And I think that's probably just for a great opportunity for us to switch on your mic, maybe write in the chat that I won't see. So what's the most recent English word that you've learned? Either unmute yourself and tell us the word, or just write it in the chat and maybe Katerina can read them out loud.
Yes, I can read.
I can start. So the word that I learned yesterday, I didn't learn it. I just looked it up and then I made a screenshot because I don't know, there's just like a lot of things going on in my life right now, like lots of homework. But the word that I didn't know, and hopefully I will be able to memorize it, it's ALBEIT, which is pronounced, I believe, sorry guys, albite. Okay, sorry about that. But this is just a weird word that I encountered in the research article, and it means even if only. Weird word. Okay,
Oh,
your
so
turn,
it's
guys.
hard to recall. I usually put down the words I learned, so I don't forget them. So I do remember the last something like twofer. It's something like two sides of one. I mean, I think it's just two sides of one coin, or something like has two meanings. So.
Oh, I see the chat. Oh, fantastic.
Okay, yeah.
Can you also see the chat?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Okay, so Katya, Ekaterina.
Super. I can write it down into the chat.
Okay, scrumptious. This is fantastic.
Super. I think this is the one I learned recently.
Okay, yep. Mine is this, and it's called. Okay, mine is okay. Albeit. Jesus, that's such an interesting. Okay, twofer, that's a good one. I didn't know that. Thanks, Katya. Okay, albeit, twofer. Then we have superficial, nudge. Fantastic, I love this word. And then scrumptious. Interesting. Some of them may be also the GRE words, so it's a good idea to kind of sometimes have a look at all of these, like, I don't know, sophisticated terms. Alrighty, guys, thanks for those who shared their words. Fantastic. Now let's jump into the review part. So the GRE structure. Okay, who can tell me what are the 3 GRE parts? Okay, guys, you can keep your cameras off, but it doesn't hurt to unmute yourself and just to participate in discussion, since we are all learning here.
Yeah, maybe you remember from the last session what Nelly was saying about the structure, and we just want to refresh the information.
Okay, how many?
We had volunteers last year, last time.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Just whoever the volunteer is, and go ahead and mute yourself and let us know. Okay.
There are two writing parts. Sorry, I'm gonna go straight ahead. 2 writing parts of 30 minutes each, then 2 verbal parts, 2 quant parts, and 1 part which is not being assessed, but likely you will not know. And Nelly told us about this research, that it's either research or unscored, but to be honest, I've never heard of anyone having a research part, so it's likely to be just unscored, and you just don't know whether it's going to count towards your overall score or not.
That is correct, Maria. Thanks so much. Fantastic. So 3 parts: analytic writing, quant, and verbal reasoning. Last time you covered the math part, which is quantitative reasoning, and that's exactly overall you're gonna have. Sorry, you were saying something? Okay, so overall you're gonna have 4 parts, and sometimes you're gonna have the 5th part, and you don't know whether it's the quant or qual, sorry, verbal in this case. And it's a good idea to be focused and to get the best score out of all the sections, since you never know. I took the GRE 3 times, and 3 times I had that research section, and once I even knew what the section was, because I kind of failed one part, but then I got the good score at the end. So you never know. And overall, the GRE takes you 4 hours to complete, with like all the preparation, the document check, and the break. And as for analytical parting, which is the main focus of today's session, there's going to be 2 essays, and each of them will last 30 minutes. All right. So now let's talk about the score. So basically for analytical writing, you can score from 0 to 6.0, and they also count the percentile, which means that they compare your score to other people who took this test the same day. But it's always a good idea. it's always a good idea to kind of know what the mean score is, which is 3.0, 150, and 150, and shoot for this higher score. So as long as you're somewhere in between, it's good. But at the same time, the higher it is, the better. That's how your like test result will look like. And for verbal and quant part, you're gonna have the score right after. So you either have an option to decline the score, which is kind of like no, since you spend so much money on that, or you're gonna accept the score. In this case, it's gonna be sent automatically to the schools that you've entered and you've chosen. Alrighty, and now the question. So what's the best score? What is the score that you need to be able to get into the program? And no one knows. Honestly, I've been talking to so many programs in 2 universities, and it's like the gray zone. So no one knows, well, they know it should not be bad. So you should score like at least 150 in each sections. And for writing, you should have at least 3.5. That's what I was told. At the same time, the higher it is, the better, since sometimes like the GRE probably can be the defining factor if there are 2 applicants and they have the same research background, the same professional experience, the same GPA from previous institution. So they're probably going to look at the GRE score. In my field, it's kind of like the intercept between the education and arts and humanities. It's somewhere around 160. Okay, I didn't score 160. I scored 155 for both section, and then 4.5 for writing, and it was good enough for me to get into the program. So, but this is just a good idea to keep in mind that as long as you're in between, it's kind of okay. Don't worry about that too much. Alrighty, analytical writing. So 2 types of essays. At the beginning, I was like, oh, who cares about the name? Who cares about the order? But it's a good idea to remember that the order will always be like in this way. So it's gonna start with the issue essay, and then you're gonna move to the argument essay. And issue essay, it's very common to what you guys, to those who took the TOEFL test, you had in the writing part, not the integrative essay, like the independent essay. So there's going to be a statement, and they will ask you to either agree with the statement or disagree, and then provides evidence and supporting details, and then that's going to be your essay. And then for argument essay, this is very specific to this type of test. So you're going to read a short passage, which will be the prompt for this type of an essay. And then there is something bad about like their argumentation. So there's going to be a statement, and then there's going to be a conclusion based on that statement. And it's bad. It's always bad. I've never encountered that there was a prompt that you would be like, oh, that's such a nice argumentation, and the conclusion is based on great assumptions. No, they're going to ask you to critique and to criticize that argumentation. So again, and someone will make a conclusion, and it will be based on weak arguments and unstated assumptions. A couple of strategies here. So I took the GRE test twice in Ukraine, and 2 times I scored 3.5. No matter how much vocabulary I learned, no matter how many times I practiced, 3.5, it was the ceiling, couldn't do better. Then when I got to the United States, I was asking my colleagues and my classmates whether they took the GRE. All of them took the GRE, and all of them scored pretty high, like 5.0, 5.5. So, and I was wondering about their strategies, and all of them said that they didn't get ready for the test at all. They didn't have time, energy, but they wrote a lot. So that's the key, I would say. You have to practice taking this test, typing. And I was typing super slowly, like I was like, but then after like taking classes here, working as an instructor, yeah, I was like kind of started to type faster, and I think that what really contributed to the score. Then your writing has to be argumentative and authentic. Again, if you're gonna like throw all of this vocabulary and all these fancy words that will not sound like natural, your score would probably like get lower to some extent because it won't sound authentic to them. So just be sure to sound formal, but you don't have to use any like fancy words you're not sure about. Okay, then don't worry about typos. When I was proofreading my essay, I spotted 2 typos and then like the screen just disappeared since I ran out of the time. So, but my I don't think that I got lower grade because of that, so don't worry about that. The graders, they spend like, I took this from the ETS website, to up like 1.5 to 2 minutes for reading one essay. So they're just gonna glance at it, they will see that okay, there's a lot of content there, it's like big enough, so you're gonna get points just for that, but not for your like bright thoughts, which is kind of unfair, I guess. Okay, and then what actually can contribute to you getting a lower score is choppiness. So when your sentences are choppy, for example, my name is Tanya, I'm a PhD student, I graduated from Ohio University, I live in College Park. You see how choppy it is, like simple sentences. What they care about is like you being able to connect those sentences. You can say, my name is Tanya and currently I'm a PhD student. When I was admitted to the program, I moved to College Park. You see how I added all those clauses? So it's really good idea to add all of these like cause and effect and, but, however, coordination, subordination. And poor vocabulary, by poor vocabulary I mostly mean like really basic words or maybe sometimes slang or contractions. Yeah, don't use that. And the school can request your essays. Yeah, I was kind of bummed by that. I didn't know that the school can request your GRE writing like sample, but I don't know. They say that they can, yeah, by the school request send that writing. So yeah, just be sure that you spend enough time practicing and you'll do your best while working on those essays. All right, let's get started with the issue essay. Okay, so this basically what you'll see on the test day as your test will begin. So this is going to be the statement and then the actual instructions for the task. So I'm going to read it out loud. So the best way for a society to prepare its young people for leadership in government, industry, or other fields is by instilling in them a sense of cooperation, not competition. So pretty easy. Just the statement, and it's in affirmative, but sometimes it can be in interrogative or negative. So here we see that they kind of impose that for people to be great leaders in all of these industries, they have to know how to cooperate, but not how to compete. So, and there is like the same kind of statement you're gonna get underneath, which says that, oh, write the response, which is your essay, and then discuss to what extent you agree or disagree. So they don't care which stance you're gonna take as long as you can support it with enough evidence, okay? And then be sure to address the most compelling reasons and examples. Nothing extraordinary out here. So let's have a look at the steps. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Yes, so there are 3 basic steps and they have to be in this sequence. That's key. You have to think, organize, notifications, think, organize, and then write. Because sometimes people just start writing and then they think. Sometimes they skip the step, like they don't organize or they don't think. So yeah, it's a good idea. It's very kind of, I don't know, straightforward, but at the same time that works. So at first think, organize, write. We're gonna practice that later. And then there are 3 main parts: intro, body, paragraph, and the conclusion. Okay, the rule of thumb here, you want to have at least 5 paragraphs. Please have those 5 paragraphs. So we have the intro paragraph, then 3 body paragraphs, and then we have the conclusion. If they see that you have 4, even like long ones, probably your score will be lowered, but I don't know. I can't tell. It's just what I've heard from so many people, even test designers. Okay. So let's imagine that, okay, I see like there are no questions in the chat, so I'm assuming you're like all following and you're focused. Okay, this is very important. Let's say that's the kind of the statement that you need to either agree or disagree on your test day. So the true beauty is not found in the exceptional, but in the commonplace. Okay, first, remember, we have to think, organize, right. So at first we have to think, do we know all of the terms? Sometimes we don't have time for that, like we don't have time to translate, but it's a good idea to think, okay, do I understand what they mean? So basically, after you know that, okay, the true beauty, you know what beauty is. Not found, see, there is a negation. So the true beauty is found not in exceptional. So true beauty, for, according to them, does not equal something exceptional, something extraordinary, but in the commonplace. Commonplace things that surround us, like in everyday life, something simple, something quotidian, something banal, something like simple, as I said. Okay, then it's a good idea for you to check whether you got that statement is to write the opposite side. So on the test day, and that's how, by the way, one of my tips, how that I recommend you practicing with. So, you know, on the test day, you're gonna have like your computer, and they're gonna give you a pencil and like a couple of sheets of paper. So it's a good idea to practice. So you're gonna write, okay, so the statement, like positive statement, which I agree with. True beauty doesn't equal exceptional. Yeah, it equals commonplace. So the true beauty, according to them, is found in some simple things. The opposite will be that the true beauty is extraordinary things, not simple things, not like, I don't know, books, clothes, nice weather, your bedroom, whatever. It's something extraordinary, like masterpieces, like art, I don't know, wonders of the world. Then you have to think of examples. So very quickly, you should choose one point. So you're gonna be like, okay, do I think that I will find, and it's like interesting, they don't care if you agree or disagree. Even sometimes, like, I'd agree that real beauty is in something simple. That's how I live. I find all these pleasures in like my everyday life. But I think, okay, maybe I will provide very good examples for the exceptional things. So I'm going to be like, okay, if I think that the real beauty is like in exceptional things, what example can I provide? And then I'll write down 3 examples. Number 1, let's say art, Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. Got it. Then number 2, I'll be like, maybe architecture, or maybe like music. Oh, I'm not good at music, but I know there are like so many great architectural buildings, like Notre Dame de Paris. Perfect, I'm gonna write it down. And then the third would be like, oh, what are some of the natural things that can be exceptional? I'm gonna be like, oh, maybe, I don't know, Niagara Falls. And I'll write it down. So see, I have 3 examples of exceptional things. And commonplace, I would probably use examples from my real life, which is not kind of recommended in the GRE. So remember, you have to raise and address some current problems and issues in the society, but not kind of provide examples from your own life. That's what this book says. All right. And then the key point is that you write your thesis statement. So my suggestion is to always start with the opposite. So you remember 2 opinions. 1, the beauty is in commonplace. The opposite one, beauty is an exception. I would start in this way. Although there are so many people who agree that things that surround us in everyday life are exceptionally beautiful, I personally believe that the true beauty can only be found in unique things. And that's most of the time will be the last sentence of my intro paragraph. And we're going to talk about the structure of the paragraph later on, but you see how like the preparation goes on. And in general, it will take you like up to maybe 2 minutes. So I do recommend spending some time planning it out and practicing, and then it's gonna be like automatic. You have the task, you're gonna write down, okay, this is the statement, this is the opposite statement, a couple of examples. Okay, I'm gonna go with the positive statement, and what's gonna be my thesis statement? I will start with the negative, and then I'm gonna move to the positive, to the one that I chose. Okay, I hope that makes sense so far. So that's step number 1. It should take you like up to 2 minutes. Then it's a good idea to separate your examples. So remember, for the exceptional things, I have 3 examples: Mona Lisa, Notre Dame de Paris, and then the third one was Niagara Falls. I'm gonna be like, okay, what's the structure? Honestly, in this particular case, there is no particular structure. I can start with Niagara Falls and then move to Leonardo da Vinci and people. But I think like, oh, maybe I should start with the nature. I'm going to be like, oh, the nature is actually the creator of everything beautiful we have in this world. And then I'll move to like people. I'm going to be like, oh, when people unite, they can build such masterpiece buildings like Notre Dame de Paris. And then I'm going to be like, oh, but sometimes even one person can create something exceptional. And then I'll provide the example of Mona Lisa and Leonardo da Vinci. And then you outline, and this is a very crucial step. You see here in the step 2, I have outline, intro, and concluding paragraphs. So that's what I will always start writing my issue essay with. I will have a paper, blank paper, nothing in here. And then I would be like, okay, I need 5 paragraphs. This is my first paragraph, and I'm not gonna write intro because I know since it's the first one, this is the intro. But this is gonna be the intro I, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, and then C stands for the conclusion. So intro, 1, 2, 3, and then conclusion. I remember when I was taking the test, I had like 1 minute before, like they say, oh, get familiar with the instruction. And as like I had that screen with the instruction, I was already kind of like getting ready with my outline. And there is no template, but that kind of helps you organize your thoughts, because taking the GRE is kind of a very stressful experience. Okay, you see this. So basically your thesis statement will be the last one out here. Then your examples, you're gonna dedicate this whole paragraph to, I don't know, the point of, I don't know, nature and natural beauty. So that's going to be where my Niagara Falls evidence will go to. And I'm going to just write, can you see this by the way? Niagara Falls, then Notre Dame de Paris, what is the third one? Mona Lisa. And then conclusion, it's very easy. You just restate. Oh, because of X, Y, and Z, here's the conclusion. Yeah, beauty is only in exceptional things. Also, for very prolific writers, there can be another, the third body paragraph. So here's your main kind of statement, I would say. You can add, I didn't have time for that, but maybe you guys gonna have the 4th paragraph, which is the rebuttal. This is the paragraph where you accept the opposite opinion. You can be like, oh, although there are so many fantastic things in the world and they're kind of unique, but we don't go to Niagara Falls every day. We don't see Mona Lisa every day. So what are we gonna do? How we can find beauty in our everyday life? And that's the part where you can say, oh, maybe it's time to find beauty, I don't know, like from like you can find beauty in your view, I don't know, in some of the paintings that you have at home, everywhere. Okay, so you kind of got that point. But I didn't have time for that, so I can't say that. It's kind of recommended, but it's not crucial. If you are fine with like having 5.0 or like 4.0, it's okay not to have the rebuttal. Okay. And the final step is to write. Just really quickly type everything. You have this kind of outline in front of you, you're typing, you're focused, and then people say that for editing of proofreading, you will not need to spend a lot of time. So it's a really good idea to spend like 20-25 minutes on writing. And then editing, yeah, just like 1 or 2 minutes. And that's the end of our issue essay. And then we have to take a deep breath. because right after this essay, you're going to have the argument essay, and that's another story. Alrighty. Any questions so far right here? I don't think I mentioned anything super new, so let's just move on. Okay, there are 11 participants. I want to stop sharing.
I think it's including us, you and me, so I believe it's like just 9. So you can.
So it's 3 groups of 3. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing for now, guys, since I have like an interesting activity for you out here. Okay, so I will copy and paste in the chat, but don't follow that link so far. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste the Google document. Okay, I decided it's kind of a good idea to share. Okay, this is the Google document that I just shared the link to this document. Okay, basically what I'd like you to do is to work in your small groups. And we have like approximately from 10 to 15 minutes for this assignment. You should read the prompt. Here's the prompt. I'm gonna highlight it right now. And with this prompt, you're gonna probably think, okay, spend some time just understanding the prompt, and then try to put yourself in the author's shoes and think, oh, what kind of an essay I would write here. Just pause here for a second. And then I just found one really well-written sample, and I just copy and pasted it here. The source is at the bottom. And I decided to draw your guys' attention to some of the crucial parts that I just talked about, right? Thesis statement, transition, introduction, supporting details, examples. So please read the paragraph, and then after each paragraph, have a short discussion in your group. And I would have like a question or a comment and discuss my comment, but your discussion is not limited to this comment. If you notice something and you want to draw your teammates' attention to, just to highlight it or leave a comment out here, all right? And yeah, it's going to be interesting since you're going to see how other people did this, and it's pretty doable. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop sharing right now. So that's the document, and I will create the breakout rooms. Okay, assign manually, and I'll make them. Should I assign them manually? Okay, I'll. Okay, a couple of minutes, guys. Katya, I think I assigned you to one of the groups. Maybe not. All right, guys, I'm gonna open the rooms. If you have any questions, I believe you can go back to the main room, and I'll be like switching back and forth between main room and the breakout rooms. So if you have any questions, yeah, just feel free to type them in the chat. All right?
Yeah, we just need to make sure that the link to the Google Doc is also goes with them to the rooms, because the last time I believe they didn't see the chat. But you can check. You can go to each group and then see if the Google Doc link is there.
What's the problem with the Google Doc? Sorry.
Well, the last time when the groups didn't see the chat in their rooms.
Because I believe they see the chat of the whole meeting.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go to the rooms and then we'll see if.
Yeah, I kind of don't know how to navigate it. Or when
that's fine. We'll just.
Okay, so they're joining the groups.
Valeria isn't joined yet.
Oh, I can move her.
Well, I know why it's only 8 now. Valeria, I think you need to join the group. Maybe she just said, okay, wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, I see lots of people working on the document right now. So hopefully,
okay, so they see that.
yeah, hopefully they'll be able to.
And we have 10-15 minutes, correct?
Yeah, I was wondering if I can set the timer for them. And then after that, okay, broadcast message to all. Oh no.
I think they like the by default they are set for like 12 minutes, because last time I saw the message saying it's the time is due. Do you want to like keep the rooms open, or you want to extend it for another like?
Gotcha. And so another question is, how can we, oh, I see the join button. Okay, good. I was wondering, how can I join the group?
Yes, you can join the group and you can just help them out if you.
I usually don't want to like impose at the very beginning, since they're like kind of like, oh, okay, what are we doing right now? Lots of tasks, lots of comments, new people in the group. So I will probably join like in, I guess 3-4 minutes. Yeah. There is another activity I have, and I created 12 templates because I thought that there's going to be lots of groups, but
No.
I mean, 10 is great or 9 is great. How many people joined last time on Monday?
I think around 15, something like this. So yeah. We'll make sure that we will send reminder for Friday.
Yeah, and I can share with you my slides just in case someone.
Yeah, would be great.
Okay. Do you think it's a good idea to join the groups?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to join the group.
Okay. See you later.
See you.
Really nice talking, by the way, really good discussions.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let them know that I'll close the rooms in 2 minutes. Okay. Still don't understand how to set the timer. Maybe I can read about this. This is the first semester I'm not teaching. If I was teaching, I would know all the tricks, everything.
No. You'll still have time to learn.
Just set the timer. Zoom. As I was preparing the slides, I was thinking that this time I will cover way more information than it was last time, since I kind of wanted to recycle the slides that I used, and I ended up recycling only like the beginning, like 2, 3, 5 slides. But then the academic writing, I had only 1 slide for this section. So I think this time we're gonna cover way more content, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't see the option to set the timer. Here it says you can put your breakout rooms on a timer. It's okay.
Maybe like a whole co-host. Well, we can deal with it later. I always can, set a timer and just tell you how
Yeah, that's okay.
much time left.
That's fine. Okay, let's wait 1 more minute and then I'll close the rooms. And then we'll move on. Okay, we have an hour, right? An hour left.
Yes. No, actually, it's still 8. But
So
you can go. I mean, if
half
if
an
you
hour. Oh my goodness. Alrighty then. I'm gonna close all rooms then.
That's fine. I think we can just if we want to, give all information on this information, so the
Okay,
guys
good.
can
Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna close all the rooms.
wait for.
Oh, all breakout rooms will close in 60 seconds now. Fantastic. Now we know how to do this. Okay. Okay, good to know. Practice makes perfect.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we're done with this part, and then we'll move to the next part, which is argument essay. Very good.
You always can give the homework to our students if you don't have enough time to work on the assignment. So.
Okay, everybody's back?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we're here.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, we have approximately 30 minutes left. So, like, did anyone have any questions that either you couldn't cover or you couldn't like discuss? And you can address them right now.
Yes, if I wanted to ask about, for example, one reason it will be for education, if I want to broaden this topic, can be for education 3 examples. So examples for one topic. Is it okay, or it should be like different in different spheres?
It's a good question. I would say that selecting one field like education in the overarching theme that is so broad will kind of narrow your arguments down to just covering one field. So what I would do to be on a safe side, I would choose like 3 different industries, like, okay, technology, where can we see technology? Where is it ubiquitous? Education. Then if you think that, oh, that's my kind of sweet spot, start with this paragraph, expand it, and then give really good examples. But then still, I would suggest that you cover like medicine probably, and then maybe like aviation or anything else. I don't know, IT, our everyday life and the way we use technology. So having just one topic like education will really narrow your argumentation down to having just examples all about education, arguments about education. So I kind of don't recommend that. But still, if you think that, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to say right now, go ahead, choose education, and then provide really awesome examples about education, like online, equipment, in physical classes, all of the apps, extracurricular activities people can do, students can do, you know, at home, stuff like that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, anybody else? Alrighty, guys. If you want to check this to check the PowerPoint, I will share it with Katerina, and the link will be there. Let's switch to argument essay. Okay, so you're done. You wrote one essay. You're halfway through this section. Here comes another one. I'd say that after spending 30 minutes just writing and focusing, your brain will be on fire. So you're not gonna have problems right now. It's mostly like all of these last sections, like verbal or math, when you're sitting and you're like, I just want to be done with it. I don't care if I get like 0 or whatever score. I just want to be done. I want to be outie. So with this one, you'll have enough energy to nail it, I'm sure. Okay, the example that you see right now, that's a very common prompt for the argument essay. Like I said before, there are a couple of statements and there is a conclusion, a bad conclusion. Usually you can see this conclusion by words like clearly, obviously, thus, therefore, and stuff like that. So take a look, like I'm gonna give you like less than a minute to get familiar with this prompt and then the task. Okay. So kind of at this point, everything makes sense, but then they ask you, examine the unstated assumptions, and then you have to explain why the argument, the argumentation is weak, and what assumptions are not stated, what assumptions are like weak, and so on and so forth. So the way I kind of understand it in my mind, you have like 2 statements, statement 1 and statement 3. According to these guys, our first statement impacts the other one. So because of X, Y, and Z, we conclude the following. But there are some assumptions over here. There is this gap. Like, why based on 70% of people who have accidents, we have to invest in this high quality gear? Why, what kind of statistics are they using? This is a common technique in like commercial and advertisement when people say, we are the best in the world, like based on what you're claiming that, who were your population pool, who were the committee who defined that and gave you this prize? Like, it's all over the place. As you start getting ready for the GRE, you will see that people are like say all the time stuff, and they make conclusions and assumptions and inferences based on like very weak assumptions. So here's what we are interested in. There are three main parts. First, the conclusion, like I said, author's recommendation. So in every prompt, you're gonna be like, okay, so what's the recommendation? Here we see the recommendations clearly. The statistics indicate they by investigated blah, blah, blah. We have to reduce their risk. We have to invest and reduce and so on and so forth. So here's the conclusion. It's always stated. And the premises are the facts that the author uses to back up this conclusion. So what are the premises? This whole part before, these are the premises. And assumptions, it's something that is not stated, and they're always like silly. Like you should always like be like, that does not equal this. A does not cause B. Like there is no causation, there is no analogy. If someone does this, it doesn't mean that another person should do the same. Like they don't equal. And what is very important, there is no room for personal opinion. No one asks you about your own opinion. Everything is about this prompt. Okay, now here's a very smart, actually it's very silly prompt that we have. My car broke down yesterday. I need a car to go to work. Therefore, I should buy a new car. Does it make sense? No. Why? Because it's silly. Like when people's car like break down, they don't go and buy a new car, right? They do so many other steps. So what's the conclusion? Therefore, I should buy a new car. What are the premises? A, my car broke down yesterday. B, I need the car to go to work. So this is your first step. As you see that example, you're going to be like, okay, what's the conclusion? This is the conclusion. What are the premises? These are the premises. Again, I recommend that you make use of your paper and your pencil. That's very helpful. Then, okay, you know the conclusion, you know the premises. Then you're going to be like, okay, what are the assumptions? And then you list all the assumptions. And you question, like, can this person just go and fix this car? Can this person borrow their like wife's or someone else's car? Can't they ask their colleagues to give them a ride? Can they use public transportation? See, these are all assumptions, but for some reason, the person didn't take these assumptions into account, and they just decided to, conclude that they need a new car. So that's a very, very silly conclusion. And you know why? Because there are so many other things that this person could have done. Then you choose three strongest assumptions. So I listed a lot of them, but then you list like the most important ones. Fixing the car, borrowing the car, using public transportation. Three main assumptions. These three main assumptions will be 3 body paragraphs. And then outline the template. And this is the part where I will say that you have to have a template. You have to memorize this template, have it in your head, take this test, remove it from your mind, just like that. Believe me, it will happen like automatically. Okay, and then again, as there is like a very short break between your first essay and the second one, which is the argument essay, you can jot down, like again, intro paragraph, then 3 body paragraphs, your assumptions, and then your conclusion. And I'll provide you a sample of the template, but it's a good idea to customize it. And then as you have this template here, you just fill it out quickly with the first very, very generic kind of statement, but it's a really good idea to have this generic statement all the time as you get ready for this kind of an essay. And then fill it out and have it there. And then the third step is the same, write and edit. And then again, breathe in and breathe out. All right. So here's this very, very smart statement and decision that this person made. My car broke, I need a car, that's why I'm gonna go and buy a new car. We discussed the conclusion, the premises, and then unstated assumptions. Now, here's the template that I personally used when I was working on my GRE prep. So I would, if I like, if I had to write this kind of whatever essay, I would say that the argument that the person should buy a new car due to the problem that an issue that occurred with his car is not, and then here restate the conclusion, that's where I will restate the conclusion, is not entirely logically convincing since it ignores certain crucial assumptions. And then I'll list the assumptions. First, the argument assumes that the person lives by themselves and they don't have any other relatives, friends, or family members to borrow the car from them. Second, the argument never addresses whether public transportation is available where this person lives in. Then finally, and I'm just providing you one sentence. Of course, you have to expand this paragraph because this is a paragraph, but it just gives you a clear idea of how to organize your thoughts. And finally, the argument omits the fact that there are some colleagues that would happily give this person a lift if the person asks them. And then your conclusion, right? So thus argument is not completely sound. The evidence in support of the conclusion does little to support this conclusion of the argument because the conclusion is not based on the sound assumptions. Ultimately, the argument might have been strengthened by providing the evidence why buying a new car is the only option. That's all. So it's very easy if you kind of have the structure. Okay, here's the task, here's what I should write. Conclusion, premises, all unstated assumptions. Then you have your template, you fill it out, you expand all the portions, right? Like give a couple of sentences to the first, to the second, to the final or third. There we go. You proofread, you submit. All right, let me check the time. Okay, we still have some time left. Here's a very interesting activity I'd like you guys to do. I will copy and paste this link to the chat, and then I will assign you in either the same groups or different groups. I honestly don't know how to do that. But this time the task will be very simple. You read this prompt and you collaborate together in your group, and you fill out this template. There are 3 pages for 3 groups, so just find your corresponding group and work together with your teammates. All right, so I'll stop sharing right now. The Google Doc, looks like this. So you see, first read the prompt individually in your own groups. So this is the prompt in bold. And then fill out the template. You can like delete all of this underscore lines and just start typing, okay? And then we will get back together in approximately like 7 to 10 minutes. And we will discuss what you guys got. Okay, I will cut this, stop share. All right. Here's the link and breakout rooms. Oh, I'm gonna go with like the same rooms that you guys were in. All right, see you in a bit. Ooh, very good.
Did you get a chance to set timer this time or
No.
No. Okay,
Timer.
so let me set a time and then just we'll go with 10 minutes from now. Okay.
Sure.
Or you need more.
Yeah, we're actually almost done. I have some tips for them. I also have like a sample of an essay written to this prompt but I'll just let them look at the prompt individually after the meeting, since I want to leave some time for them to ask questions. Right. I think we can like see what they're working on in the document.
Well, you can see, I cannot, I guess. If I would think, maybe I can if I open the Google Doc.
Did you get access? I think I opened it to everyone. See, this is the document with 12 groups.
Yeah, I see. Well, next time we'll have 12 groups.
Hopefully. I mean, this is just a busy time of the year. February is the shortest month. So some of the people were like, oh, let's meet, let's have a meeting. And then they'll be like, okay, but the meeting will be in March. They're like, why in March? We have 2 more weeks of February. And they're like, no, March is next week.
Yeah, this is the last week of winter.
I like that Google Docs don't show who the participants are. They have like grizzlies and bears and chipmunks, and then crows and leopards, and just like, I even don't know who wrote
That's
this.
smart.
Yeah. Kind of like reduces the tension and the stress, specifically like in all these collaborative activities. So group number 2, I think they're working. They already started editing the template. Okay, I'm gonna go join them. We'll see
Yes,
how it goes.
you, okay, now we're like, have almost through 4 minutes. So maybe another 4 minutes and we can tell that they have 2 minutes.
Yeah, sounds great. All right.
Okay, so I see.
All right, guys, awesome job. I was eavesdropping to your discussion, heard some really awesome ideas. Just for you to see what other people wrote on this subject, I just shared in the chat box the link to the Google Doc, and it contains the sample argument written on this topic that scored 5. It's a good score. So overall, if you want to like have a look later and compare your thoughts and your assumptions with theirs, just do it after our meeting. Because right now I want us to talk about tips and tricks and hacks, and probably we're going to wrap up our session.
Sorry, can you please resend the link because we can't see it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not in the chat. And I say I'm not the only one who can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna do it a little bit later, okay? Since I already opened tips and tricks, but absolutely, I
Yeah,
can,
thanks.
no problem. Okay, so, oh, I sent it to no, Valeria, interesting. Okay, anyhow, so a couple of pieces of advice from me. So first off, you need to have one good source. And I think that the reason why I scored higher the second time, that's because I had this book. Like, honestly, it was my Bible for the GRE prep. So many great tips, everything was here, so many practice tests, love it, recommend it, awesome. Then I also bought this kind of not that expensive, but still I was at that point getting ready for the GRE with my friend, and we bought this Magoosh course, which kind of cost, I don't know, kind of $100-something. But then I didn't even open it, honestly. I just didn't have time for that. So this book, I'm just starting with this book. I took some practice tests from Magoosh, so.
But Magoosh offers a lot of for free, so you can still use Magoosh app for free.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was using Magoosh for verbal section. I was just constantly flipping over the flashcard and learning a new vocab. Okay, then apps, like Katerina just said, Magoosh was one of those. I had those apps like for 3 years, I think, but then I bought the new phone and I just decided not to download those apps. Yeah. Then YouTube videos is a great source. Definitely hit all the time you watch videos on the GRE or any test prep, hit that like button so that other people can also watch those videos, share them with the people who are getting ready to the test with you, create a study group. For example, right now, you can keep working together, cross-checking, peer reviewing each other's work, like writing in this case. And then no penalties for wrong answer. That's a good strategy. Never submit the test verbal or quant with some unanswered questions. Just choose one letter like A, B. And every time there's like 5 questions left, just click B, 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 B. Because there are no penalties for wrong answers. And there are no penalties for spelling or typos. Unless they're not like very ubiquitous, and then made up stories. So no one, if you want to give an argument and want to like, I don't know, illustrate something, but you're not sure about that fact, it's okay. No one will check it. I mean, if it's not like the common truth, but no one will check your evidence, so don't worry about that. Okay, talk to your school. Oh, that's your homework, guys. As you already get ready for the GRE, it means that you're kind of already dedicated to apply to a school, and maybe some like a specific school and program. Please reach out to the program. This year there are so many schools that waived their GRE scores. It's a good idea to communicate with the program. I can't emphasize it more. You have to let the program know, the director know that you are the one who are interested in them. So a really good idea is to write them a nice, kind email inquiring what's the desired score is, and maybe they can waive it. It never hurts to ask. That's your homework, guys. Reach out to all the schools, get your GRE waived. Okay, then sometimes it's not the program that requires the GRE, but the grad school. So it's always a good idea to know kind of the baseline score you have to hit. At the same time, I never saw that, oh, if you don't score this much, we're not gonna get you in. No, they have the desired score, and sometimes they can make so many exceptions if you see that you're a very strong applicant. Oh, another tip and trick, register, because when you have this registration date in your mind, you don't slack. Yes, you're gonna get stressed, you're gonna sleep probably less, you're gonna get more nervous, but it will keep you very concentrated on and organized. I started getting ready, don't do this, but I started getting ready for my GRE last year, I think a week before the GRE, but no, I started earlier, but then like really I was just cramming that book. Yeah, a week before, a very bad example. But it's a good idea to register, and then, okay, you know that in 2 months you're gonna take the GRE. Great, then every day, every weekend, you're not gonna go out, you're just gonna study. Perfect. Then practice makes perfect. Don't start with like all of the videos, start with the diagnostic tests. Please do that, because it will give you a very clear idea what your strengths are, what you need to focus more. And then I would probably recommend, if you don't have a lot of time, just do lots of practice tests, practice. And then if something doesn't make sense, if you don't know the word, if you don't know the equation, then go back and review the theory. But ideally, it's always a good idea to start with the test and then theory, Then work on your concentration skills. Yeah, I recommend that you take the test without breaks. There's only one break at the GRE. And a really perfect way for you to get ready for the writing section is to have your earplugs, headset, something, have a pen, have a paper, have your laptop, ask your family members, your friends, your partners, not to disturb you, and then focus for 30 minutes, for an hour. You're gonna be so productive and so proud of yourself later on, I promise you. Then take tests without breaks, and time to prep for 1 to 3 months. Yeah, I don't recommend like start getting ready right now, knowing that your test is in a year. Practice shows that it's not gonna be very efficient way of you to spend your time, because then you learn those words, but because you don't use those words, you kind of keep forgetting them, and then you get frustrated because of that. So just have I would say 2 months. Okay, you register in 2 months, you can take the GRE. Okay, from this point on, every day 10 words, every day 1 equation, every day like 1 paragraph on academic analytical writing or academic writing. That's all, guys. Okay, it's perfect time for us to I'm gonna stick around, answer all your questions. I will send this email, this PowerPoint to Katerina. It has my email address. Feel free to reach out to me. If you want me to look at your essays, send them to me. I'll give you some good feedback. I'm gonna stop sharing for now while you're thinking about the questions that you want to ask. I will copy and paste the link to the doc that has the answer to the previous. Did you guys get it or not? I shared it once again.
Yes, I think also Daria shared 2 times with everybody. So.
Oh, thanks, Daria. Okay, thank you. I don't know why. Yeah, sometimes it happens to technology. Okay, questions. So how do you feel about analytical writing part? thus far? Was it helpful a little bit, just to give you an idea of what those types of writings are?
Actually, it helped a lot. So I would like to say thank you, maybe from all of us, because I feel
Aw.
more happy and energized, honestly, after quant, because my specialty is more with languages than with math. So
Fantastic.
I think I can do it if I practice. So thank you.
Absolutely. I have full faith in you guys. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Just know that you did everything you could. That's it. That's the mindset. And yeah, always start with something like you feel good about. Like if it's writing, if you feel like, okay, you're good at writing, start your prep with like writing one paragraph and then like send it to your, I don't know, someone who can like just read it, or just leave it for like some time and then go back and like proofread it. And then if quant is something that you kind of really struggle with, then also spend some time, but then don't focus too much on that, because as long as you got that 150, you're fine. And even if it's less, don't worry about that. So humanities, languages, education, I think they worry mostly about the verbal part and the writing.
Okay, thank you one more time.
No, my pleasure, guys. You have my email address. Feel free to, I'm gonna copy it right here just in case. And I was very like pleasant experience to work with you today. You're very bright students. Let me know if you have any questions about the admission process, TOEFL, applications, statement of purpose. I have all of these collected and I can share mine. I can share my CV, my letter of statement of purpose, or how do you call it, motivational letter or something. Yeah,
Well,
you can
yes.
do that. You can do
Motivation
this.
later for the undergrads and the statement of purpose for the grad programs.
Right, yeah. I mean, I have the collection of all these samples, so I can share all of them with you guys. And if you ever feel like you cannot do this, check my, I don't know what, like Facebook. I used to post a lot about like my experience living here, studying here, traveling in the US. Right now, honestly, don't have time, but you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook. Just it's worth it. Like you'll see that hard work pays off at the end.
Well,
Right.
thank you, Tanya. Really grateful to you for your time, for your efforts, for the great presentation and the assignments. And I think it's time to get some rest and to
Yeah, it's true.
thank you, everybody. And I just want to remind that we have another session on Friday with Nelly. Nelly is coming back on Friday. So we are looking forward to see you all guys on Friday. I'll try to make sure we send a reminder to everybody who are registered for the boot camp. And thank you for your work. Thank you for your participation. It's really encouraging. And Tanya, have a nice rest of the day. You're still it's still in the morning, I guess. And have a good night, everybody. And goodbye. See you on Friday.
Thanks, goodbye.
Thanks, Katya,
Bye.
for helping us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.